Hello, today we're going to be speaking with Clare Maxfield, who is an amazing image consultant. I don't know about you, but you are probably, a lot of us are feeling a bit frumpy and a bit caged in and lacking in style during COVID. So Claire's gonna share some insights on how to feel better. Welcome, Clare.
Thanks, Maureen. Good to be here.
Now, before we even jump in, I haven't even warned you about this, but I often ask people about something quirky or interesting about themselves so that people watching can get to know a little bit about you. So is there something you can think of that's quirky or interesting that we don't know about you?
I've thrown a woman over my head.
You've thrown a woman over your head?
In a fight. Mind you, it was a sanctioned fight. When I was a lot younger, I was doing judo. And we're in a competition, and I had her by her coat, and I rolled onto my back and put my foot into her stomach and threw her over my head, and I won the competition. Don't mess with me.
Well, I did not know about that about you. That's amazing. So today we're going to be talking about all things image and style. So a lot of us are feeling a bit lacking in style during COVID. So what sort of tips have you got for people around, because we've spent so much time in our tracky dacks because, we only have seen from, waist up. So what sort of tips have you got for people around that?
Well, I've been hearing this a lot from my clients. So the first thing I say is just shake it up for yourself. Get together with some girlfriends. Some people like to get involved with Facebook groups. Other people don't. They like to be a little bit more private. So get together with some girlfriends and just every day make a plan to do something different and share it with your friends. So that way you're looking at your wardrobe with fresh eyes every morning wondering, what can I do today that I haven't done before? So join with some friends.
Yeah. So I did see you doing that where each day on Facebook you'd grab something out of your wardrobe and create a new look. So is that what you mean?
Exactly. Well, another option is with my Style Journey Facebook group. You can come in there and I've got a 31-day Style Journey makeover that you can do. And every day you're going to find a little tip of something to do to shake up your wardrobe. It gets you looking at, who your style icons are, who your muses are, getting you wearing colours you may not normally wear, pulling out garments from your wardrobe that you haven't worn in ages. So it's 31 days of looking at things differently because we wear 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time. So we're wearing such a small part and there is so much that we're saving. Yeah.
And so what do people, why do people only use 20%? It's nonsensical, but I can relate to it.
Well, it's that whole 80-20 rule. And when it comes to our wardrobe, it's what you're comfortable with. Because more often than not, we're getting up, we're in a hurry in the morning, or we're tired, or we're not thinking, and you're like, oh, I know that works. I know that and that works. So it's the comfort of knowing what you're putting together works. And then everything else, you might have to think a little bit harder about, oh, should I be wearing that with that? And the same things seem to fall in the same part of our wardrobe. Yeah. So, and of course, we're conditioned, like when you get in the shower, we all wash ourselves the same way every morning. We have a tendency to just go for what we know works, what's comfortable, what's easy.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing there is it might take a bit of mental energy and some effort to go in and try something. But once we find something else that works, then we can hardwire that and add another option.
Yes. And another way to keeping these new options coming is, especially again, if you feel you're in a rut, is to actually reorganize your wardrobe. So for myself, I move it around from summer to winter because there's an area that's easier to get to than another. So at the moment, all the winter pieces are there. But every time I move it around, I'm seeing things. I go, oh, I forgot I had that, or oh, I've still got that. I'm getting rid of that. So if you're feeling, if you're someone who's in Melbourne or anywhere else in the world where we've been in so much lockdown and you're working remotely from your desk and you're just going, I've got no idea. Do you know what? Get this weekend, get into your wardrobe, pull everything out as if you're moving, put it back, because you will start seeing things that you forgot you have. So doing a complete reorganization is another way to, dust off that rut and make your little sparkle back in your life.
Oh, great. Now, I've heard some old adages over the years that, if you haven't worn it for 6 months, you're never going to wear it. Things like that where people quote this stuff. And and I've sometimes pulled stuff out and I found it 2 years later. I decided I quite liked it and I didn't wear it and I didn't want to throw it out. So what are your comments around that?
I completely disagree with that idea. If it hasn't been worn for 6 or 12 months, get rid of it. That's buying it for me into fast fashion. Now, I like to buy generally pieces that are a little bit different. So I'm not going to wear them all the time. I have jackets in my wardrobe that I may only wear every year or every 2 years, but they are gorgeous. So I save them and I pull them out. I only recommend getting rid of something if you pull it out and you look at it and you think, it's one of those things that every day it's been not today, and it goes back. Not today, and it goes back. If it's been a not today, not next year, and not the year after that, you're not going to wear it. Get rid of that. But do not get rid of some fabulous pieces, classic pieces, quirky pieces, interesting pieces that you will wear. They're just not an everyday piece. There's nothing wrong with those, because if they work and you love them, keep them.
Yeah. And that's really good. So it sounds like if you actually had it organised and you were able to see them, then stuff wouldn't get lost and be, lost at the back of the wardrobe.
Yes. And even if you make one day a week, I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to pull out something I haven't worn in ages. I don't know if you remember 2 or 3 years ago, 2 years in a row, I gave myself a 100-day challenge where every day I had to wear something different and I couldn't repeat an outfit for 100 days, nor was I allowed to buy anything for 100 days. Can I tell you, I was getting really creative by the end, but it did get me wearing outfits that I hadn't worn in ages. And in fact, some of them are starting to come up in memories at the moment. And I went, I haven't worn that. I must pull that out again. So challenge yourself to find something that you've left aside, put aside, and wear it. Because by the end of that day of wearing it, you'll go, oh yeah, I do love this, and put it back, or go, oh, what was I thinking? And you'll just get rid of it. But then if it's got value in your wardrobe or not.
Yeah. What do you say? Like, I've got people who tell me, because obviously I love feeling the feel of fabric, and I love fluffy coats. Obviously, I'm wearing one right now. And I actually thought before coming on today's show, I'm like, well, maybe I should wear something different because Claire's an image, and style consultant and whatever. But I want to be me. And I've had, even members of the family saying, well, it's not very professional, Maureen, some of your clothes. What are your thoughts on what I've just shared?
Okay, for a start, it is very much on brand with you. As you know, I've known you for a while, and you're a textural person, so it's important to you that things feel good. What I always say to people, if they're worried about the way they're dressing, is if you are starting off or you're wanting to make an impact and you're a little bit nervous, you're not sure of your stuff, of what you're doing, then err on the side of safe. Don't go trying to make a fashion statement when you're not sure if you've got the goods inside to support it.
Yeah.
But if you know what you're doing and you're confident with what you're doing, and the way you're dressing is not going to interfere with where you're working and the message you're giving, then go for it. But there's a lot of elements. So often when I'm coaching some of my clients, if they're coaching for a promotion or something they want to change in their life, we go through who it is they want people to, when they look at them, see, and the message they want to give out. And yes, toe that corporate line. If you're working in an industry or in a place that expects it of you, or you need to be seen as a corporate person, but Maureen, that's not your personality and that's not what you bring to the table. So I would have been really disappointed if we had corporate Maureen here, because it's not you. And
Yeah.
unless you're being authentic to who you are, people will see straight through you.
Yeah. And I did corporate, and I've, I worked for Hewlett Packard and an IT company, so it was quite straight. But I still brought my flair to it. So I think it's from what I'm hearing is, yes, it is about what you want people, how people want you to see you and perceive you, and you want opportunities. But you can still, in the workplace, even if you have sort of a dress code, you can still bring yourself into it.
Oh, definitely. And it comes down to confidence. So I know when I first started as an image consultant, I used to dress very similar to the woman who trained me, because that's where I got my confidence. I had to sort of be someone else until I could be me. And then I became me. So sometimes it's that whole fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But just make sure whatever you're doing, you know why you're doing it and you're confident doing it, and it's not going to be disastrous to your career. So it's not a simple yes or no answer. There's so many elements to look at. But again, never get yourself in a position where you're doing or wearing something that you don't agree with and you don't feel right about, because you will not be able to do your job well.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about colour? How important is colour for people, the colour of the things they wear?
Colour is so important, because colour talks to us. It says a lot about the person, about the surroundings, about the message they're giving. And also colour can make us look healthy. It can make us look tired. It paints the picture, so to speak. So I always recommend, if you don't really know what colours to wear, you can always wear a few of the universal colours like navy, raspberry, white, emerald green. They're nice, safe ones. But if you truly want to shine, get to know your colours. Come and see myself or another image consultant to understand what colours suit you, so that way, it's like when I look in my wardrobe, every colour goes with everything else in my wardrobe. I choose clothes based on what my mood is, not based on, that only goes over there. And it just gives you so much more choice. So colours really do, as I said, tell the story about who you are.
Yeah. And sometimes I want people to notice me, and sometimes I want to hide. So, I just want to go along my day in the world and not be noticed or seen. And now the days I want, look at me, look at me. I presume you can do that with when you know what you've got in your wardrobe too.
Oh, you certainly can. If you're wearing if you want to stand in the background, you wear medium contrast, which is just sort of a light with a dark, a medium with a dark, or a medium with a light. This is a medium to high contrast I have on here, but it's not wow. So this has a little bit of impact. The colours aren't striking, but we are on a show. I don't need to wear striking at the moment, because I want the focus to be more on my face than me, but the strong lines bring the focus there. Now, if you're walking into a room and you're networking, or you're going into a meeting and you want people to notice you and listen to you, then wear strong colours. Wear the strongest colours in your palette. Wear vibrant colours that are in your palette. The reason I'm adding in your palette is because there are some people with a very strong colouring, and they can wear those vibrant, bold reds, pops of colours, hot pinks. But then people with a softer colouring, they wear those colours and the colours are wearing them. So they don't look like a joke, if anything, because they're not carrying it. So if you want to stand out, red, yellows, they are colours that make people go, oh, wow, look at you. If you want to be taken seriously, the navies, the whites. If you want to blend into the background, wear soft, lighter colours so that people may not notice you as much. And I often tell graduates that if they're going into meetings and they may not have quite done all the research they were meant to, the last thing I want to do is be wearing red so everyone notices them. Because if someone says, so tell us what you can, and they're like, So you can use colour to hide, or you can use colour to stand out.
Excellent. And so you can help people work out what their colour palette is?
I certainly can. And you know, one of the things that COVID's done that I never thought we'd end up doing is I can do it now virtually. I have started running virtual consultations. So my clients, thankfully, can be anywhere in the world, because we know here in Melbourne, for a while there, we couldn't go more than 5 kilometres. So that made it really small pool to work with. But I've been working with lots of clients interstate and overseas. And we've created a fabulous program where you just send me a really good headshot with nice lighting on it. And I can tell you exactly what colours there are. I can virtually drape you while you're on the other side of the call. I'll have your photo in amongst a whole lot of slides, and we bring it up with all the different colours on you, and you'll be amazed how even the skin tone changes on a photo when there's another colour underneath it. And I'll be able to tell you what colours you are. Then at the end, we sit there and I'm going, right. And what I do is I have this against the screen, and eventually I start showing you which are your ideal colours, and I put little stars and I post them to you. So you're living through a draping. But the other element that clients just love is often people, it can be quite confronting with me standing behind you and a mirror here and all these colours on, and I have asking you to look at yourself. Yeah. People, their emotions get involved. They don't like looking at themselves. Next thing they'll say, oh, look at this, or I didn't have that wrinkle, or I didn't have this. And it takes away from the experience. We put this photo up, so they're looking at a photo of themselves and they go, oh, it's a nice photo of myself. And we put the colours on. So they've just got that emotional detachment from it, so they can see it logically. And without emotion, they go, oh, yeah, I can see that. And it's just everyone comes back there and they go, I didn't think you'd be able to do it, but my, that was fun. And I'm so glad I had this experience.
Now, my other question is, do your colours change when you change your hair colour?
Yes. So,
annoying.
So you can generally, ideally, you're coloured basically, we start with your skin tones. But so for me, I'm a mixture of warm and cools. So when my hair's cooler, I wear more cooler clothes. When my hair's warmer, like at the moment, I'm under really warm lights in this room. So my hair's giving quite a sort of a red sheen. But your colouring, see, if I go lighter, I wouldn't be able to wear this level of contrast, because imagine if I've got blonde hair, this would be standing out too much. I'd need to tone it back. Now, if I had dark hair, and there was a period there I dyed my hair black. I'm one of those people that loves to play with the colour. I would need stronger contrast, where this was more of a white than a cream with the navy. So your colours change, your level of contrast change, the way you wear. So you'll find clothes that used to look great don't. And the other thing, not just your hair, as we get older, our eyes change. Their eyes change when they're younger due to dietary changes or health changes. But myself, my eyes used to be hazel in my teens, 20s, 30s. And it's quite funny, my cousin has the same eyes, so I can sort of see where his are, but his haven't changed as much. And mine have gone to a light sagey green. So whereas I could wear a lot warmer colours when I was younger, I can't carry them anymore because I just don't have the natural colouring for it. So eyes, hair, and as you know, our skin texture changes. So that affects the colours. So colours are a work in motion. If you had your colours done when you were in your 20s and you're now in your 50s or your 40s, chances are you'll need to redo them, because things you're wearing when you're younger, they're not just not suiting you because you're physically older and that, well, that's something someone younger should wear, but you're colouring and quite often your body's changed. So they just don't look as good. It's time to mix it up and adapt your wardrobe as we adapt ourselves.
Awesome. So just on that, it's a nice segue into adaptation. So, you know, you might have a certain style in your 20s or you know, your 30s. And so for me, my mother would always, you know, in the old days, the ladies used to say, oh, you know, don't be mutton dressed up as lamb. But I still want to be funky and fun, but maybe different to funky and fun as a 20-year-old. So, you know, what advice do you have about finding your style later in life from when you were younger?
Okay. Well, the easiest solution is I've got a whole heap of quizzes on my website. But 2 of them, you can go in there and see what your personality is and see what your values are. And the 2 together help you understand what your style is now, because our values do change over life, as do our personalities. So who you were in your 18s or your teens and your 20s may not be who you are today. And if it isn't, you know, if you don't want to go in and do any quizzes, you can go out and I recommend people do sort of get some style muses, create style boards. Now, there's lots of apps you can do this with, or you can just as easily grab a Word document or a PowerPoint slide and get some images off the internet and pop it out there to see who it is who you think is around your age looking fabulous. What sort of clothes you want to wear, but look at the muses that are your age. Now, this whole thing of at a certain age, you shouldn't be wearing certain things, like you shouldn't have mini skirts over a certain age and, you know, shouldn't this, shouldn't that. Another thing I don't prescribe to, because I look at every one of my clients and I get to know who they are inside. And if they are still youthful inside and they are not looking like mutton dressed as lamb, then go for some of these, you know. I know some older women who have amazing figures still and still look great in skin tight, you know, not skin tight, but body hugging dresses. So why shouldn't they? Why should they all of a sudden think I've got to wear something big and boxy because I'm older, or something, you know, safe and, you know, below my knee and a mid-sized heel? I agree you sometimes need to stop and look at it and ask yourself, am I still wearing those? Because often what happens is we get caught with a mental picture of ourselves. And I get all my clients to do this. I ask them to close their eyes, and I'll get everyone now, just close your eyes and imagine you're looking at yourself in a mirror. How old is the version of you that you're looking at? And that's often where we stay in life, because myself, I'm still a 24-year-old inside, but I know I can't dress as a 24-year-old on that. So I've adapted my style, but some people, they don't. That might have been the best time in their life. When everything was fabulous, they don't want to let go of it. So holding on to the clothes. So sometimes for me now, it's like, look at the women and look all around the world who are similar age to you, who you think, who are your muse, and, you know, get inspiration from them. So don't think because you're an age you have to do something. But definitely jump on my website, look at the quizzes, do the female personality quiz, see what your style is. And so you're not getting sold things in stores. Do the values. Discover, like with you, I know you will come up very high with the texture one, with being sensory, because of the clothes you like to wear. And when you know who you are, it's easier to go shopping and not getting caught into and this is especially true for the socials out there, the people who are very high social value, they will see what's in the store windows when they're allowed to go to the stores. They will see what the celebrities are wearing, and they will want to dress like that, which is great if they have that body type. But sometimes we've got to adapt things to make the most of who we are right now. Not who we want to be, not who we were, who we are now.
Yeah. And that brings me to this, the last question is around your body type. Maybe your body's changed since, you were young, you've put on a few kilos, or whatever it is. So what's your advice? People might have put on a few kilos during COVID, or not have the same body type. The other thing you said about choosing muses, I might choose a muse who's my same age but a totally different body type, and that sort of clothing wouldn't suit me. So what are your thoughts on what I've just shared?
Okay. I'm going to start with that last point. If you choose a muse who isn't your body shape, that's okay, because there will be elements of what they're wearing and what they're doing that you can do. So it might be the colours, it might be some of the feel of the clothing. Is it quirky? Is it elegant? Is it classical? Is it very natural and relaxed? Is it dramatic? What is it about them that you want to emulate? And it might be you don't do it in the same trousers and top or dress or style like that, but you find a way that you can adapt. Now, the COVID kilos, group of girlfriends and I all get together, and it's so funny because sometimes I'll come in, they're going, nothing's quite fitting anymore. And, I jumped on the scales this morning and went, I think this latest lockdown's played a little bit of havoc. But one thing to do is you can always, plan to lose them or learn to just love where you are right now. So the little tricks and tips you can get around it is don't wear anything that's too tight. If it's pants, sometimes we might get away with that with a slightly longer top. Make sure, though, you're not hiding in big baggy clothing, because that can make you look bigger than you are. Another thing that I hear, and I've heard it from so many of my friends, oh my goodness, I've put on weight. Do you know what? No one notices. They rarely is someone going to say, so-and-so's chunked out. Really, it's more often you're noticing it, no one else is. So just keep that in mind. Vertical stripes, always a friend. Open jackets. Muted colours. Don't go wearing bright, shiny colours. That will help. And if you're doing Zoom things, I just want to add a little tip here, is be aware of your angles. And I'm going to give you the Kleenex solution to looking your best. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
So I don't know if you've noticed, you watch so many interviews, and I've even seen interviews with celebrities, and they're obviously looking at their laptop and it's down on the desk. So this is what it ends up looking like. So if I just bring this up, and you're talking up their nose at them and all of this because the camera is coming up. So the Kleenex solution, this way or this way, I'll turn it around, is to sit on your desk, your laptop or something, so that the camera is level with your eyes. So my camera here is just a little bit above. And that way, be prepared if you know you're going to do an interview or you're going to have a meeting. And if you're not feeling great about yourself, the last thing you want is anyone looking up your nostrils, looking at your chins. Get everything level, even if it means you get, rolls and rolls of toilet paper and sit them up. And as we know in Melbourne, many people have a lot of spare rolls of toilet paper. But just bring everything up.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks, Claire. That's been amazing sharing all your tips with us today. So if you've said you can help people online, so if they're interested, what should they do in terms of either having a consultation with you to get their mojo back or get their colours done, really get their style happening? How can they get hold of you?
Well, Maureen, I see they can just email me. And what I'm also going to add is if anyone wants to buy any of my books or have any consultations with me, just mention this show or use the code word Maureen, and I'm going to give you all 20% off. Because, I want to help your audience as much as possible. And, I think at times like this, sometimes we just need a little bit of a hand. So email me at clare@claremaxfield.com.au and use the code word Maureen. Or, when you're talking to me, say, I saw you on the Maureen Pound show. And, I'll take 20% off everything.
Okay, beautiful. And just a quick plug for your books that you've got. What 3 books have you got in the background, or 4?
There is Getting Gorgeous, a makeover manual for women.
Yep.
There is Getting Corporate. It's how to make it in the corporate world. Come on, fellas. There is Getting Handsome, makeover manual for men. Even tells you how to dress when you're playing golf. And my favorite one is Lattes, Laughter and Lipsticks, the book that transforms and revitalizes women. Just to let you know, this one is a story here, and then at the back, it's the how-tos. So the 3 characters go through transformation, and all the steps they go through are all in the back.
Excellent, great, thanks. And thanks, Anne Renton. She's been watching the show. She's put a few comments. So thanks, Anne. Appreciate your comments, and everyone else who's commented today as well. So thank you, Claire. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. I'm feeling invigorated about my wardrobe and about making myself feel good and look my best. So thank you so much for today. And we'll see you next time.
Okay.
So if you'd like to see more interviews with amazing business owners sharing extraordinary insights, click subscribe, then click the bell button, then click all, and we'll notify you.